Life got easier once I realized it's not my responsibility to convince you to choose me or beg you to like me. I've decided to stop over explaining myself and start getting used to people misunderstanding me instead, because I've realized I don't fit in a box, and I'm totally okay with that. Because the woman I am today is different than who I was yesterday, and different from who I'll be tomorrow. I'm constantly evolving. Everything in this world is temporary. Life changes, people come and go, and seasons never last. So no matter what you're going through right now, always remember that your present situation is not your final destination. So don't give up. Welcome to my channel, This Way to Bliss, where I hike and explore and car camp in my hybrid SUV and heal through nature, one hop, skip, and step at a time. Hi, I'm Candace Shea Frazier. This is my story of growing through grief instead of giving up, resetting my nervous system, and breaking my addiction to chaos and confusion. Out here, I found the strength to keep going and the first sparks of balance, bliss, freedom, and fun after the fallout of divorce, loss, betrayal, and abandonment. I have so many adventures to share, so make sure you like, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you have ever felt like your life fell apart and everybody around you just kept saying to be positive, believe in yourself, or just keep going, keep watching, this video is for you. Fun fact, did you know before becoming a butterfly, a caterpillar spends much of its time inside the chrysalis, completely transforming their specialized cells that help it reorganize its body into something entirely new? What does that mean? Sometimes growth looks like falling apart before it looks like becoming. And it doesn't grow wings by trying harder to be a butterfly. It first has to let go of being a caterpillar. Makes you wonder how many of us are trying to build a new life while still clinging to an old identity. And this tiny rock might look insignificant to us, but to a caterpillar, it can feel like climbing a mountain. Remember, perspective matters. Sometimes the obstacles we're facing aren't proof we're falling or failing. They're proof we're growing into someone we've never been before. As I continued down the trail, I noticed the blackberry and raspberry bushes beginning to bloom, and it reminded me that growth often starts beneath the surface long before anyone else can see it. Raspberry plants spread through underground roots, sending up new growth far beyond where they first began, kind of like healing. The changes we make aren't always visible right away. Sometimes we're building new habits, new boundaries, new beliefs, new ways of showing up for ourselves, long before the results ever appear above ground. And maybe that's why so many people give up too soon. They mistake the absence of visible progress for the absence of growth. But some of the most important transformations are happening underneath the surface, where nobody can see them yet. And maybe that's why I've always found so much wisdom in nature. Nature never seems to be in a hurry. The roots grow before the tree, the trunk grows before the branches, and the branches grow before the leaves. And long before we ever see the full beauty of what something is becoming, growth is already taking place. You know, I think healing works much the same way. We want to see those immediate results, immediate answers, and immediate certainty. But most meaningful change happens gradually. One lesson, one choice, one step at a time. And sometimes the most important thing we can do is keep walking the path, even when we can't see yet where it's leading. Standing watching the fish beneath the surface, I couldn't help but think about how much of our own growth happens the same way.
Look at all those fish.
Quietly, almost invisibly beneath the surface, long before anyone else can see it, long before we can see it ourselves. And then I looked up and saw those kayakers floating down the river. Some were moving forward, some were sideways. As you'll see, some are even going backwards. And there was one that was even tangled up with someone else's journey. And I remember laughing because healing can feel a lot like that too. We think transformation should be linear, and we should always know, like, where are we going? But you know what? Real growth is way messier than that. Sometimes you're moving with the current. Sometimes you're paddling against it. It may feel like you're going backward, but you're learning exactly what you need. Perfection isn't the goal. Presence and staying in the boat to keep moving is. And moments like this that remind you why the journey is worth it.
I wish we had smell-o-vision because, wow, the jasmine and the raspberry that's blossoming, it smells so lovely. It's like, I can't even describe it. It's heavenly. 100%. It makes you want to stop and breathe. The river behind me, birds singing, sun shining, wind winding, heart beating. The melody of me and the symphony of nature. Absolutely. Mwah.
The shift of perspective and the embodiment of presence was truly the chef's kiss. Nothing needed to be figured out. Nothing needed to be fixed. I wasn't chasing the next breakthrough. I wasn't trying to become someone else. I was just present. And looking back now, I think that's what I was really searching for all along. Not a perfect life or a perfect future, just a deeper connection to myself. A chance to slow down long enough to hear my thoughts, trust my own instincts, and remember who I was underneath all of the noise. And this is how I began to continue to recharge my soul. You see, 3 years ago, I was trying to rebuild my life after one of the hardest seasons I'd ever experienced. In June of 2023, when this video was filmed, I was still carrying the weight of rejection, betrayal, loss, ambiguous grief, and painful family dynamics that had shaped me for far longer than I'd realized. And the fallout of those experiences had impacted every part of my life. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I was burnt out and exhausted. I was grieving losses I didn't fully understand yet. And underneath all of it, I was trying to answer a question that many of us face after our life falls apart. Who am I? Who am I underneath the pain? What does this loss mean about me? Who am I when I'm no longer trying to survive it? You see, looking back, I can see that I had spent much of my life adapting to everyone and everyone around me. I was very conditioned and deeply rooted in patterns of people-pleasing, fawning and fixing, shape-shifting, becoming who I thought I needed to be in order to feel safe, to be loved, accepted, or even be chosen. And somewhere along the way, guess what? I lost myself. I didn't know who I was. I only knew who I'd learned to be. Maybe that sounds familiar? What I didn't realize was that healing wasn't happening in one dramatic moment. It was happening one step at a time. One hike, one conversation, one brave decision, one small act of self-trust. You see, like I just said before with the fish, transformations don't announce themselves. They happen beneath the surface. One small change, choice, and day at a time. We just keep moving forward and try to laugh along the way. That helps. But remember, growth is messy. Even more so if you're a highly sensitive person with a soft heart and a pure soul. That's why you feel everything so deeply. But be clear on one thing. This is your superpower, not your weakness. A thing nature has taught me is that growth requires letting go. Leaves fall, seasons change, rivers keep moving. And sometimes before we can build something new, we have to be willing to release what no longer belongs. What no longer belongs in the life you're creating that you are now ready to release? What are you ready to become? And little by little, something started changing. It wasn't overnight or all at once, but in small moments that almost seemed insignificant at the time. I found myself laughing more, exploring more, saying yes to new experiences, feeling excited about the future again. And not because all of my problems had disappeared, but because I was slowly reconnecting with parts of myself I thought I had lost. You know, the curious part, the adventurous part, the hopeful part, the part that still believed life could be beautiful. And looking back now, I realized those moments mattered more than I knew then. Because joy wasn't the reward waiting for me at the end of the journey. Joy was a part of the journey itself. Around this time, I was taking a lot of road trips, spending time with family. Nothing extraordinary, just an ordinary summer day. But sometimes the most meaningful moments aren't the big milestones. They're the quiet reminders that you're beginning to feel like yourself again.
Little dink, but it was a fishy.
Ooh, a hummingbird! I feel like this is a sign, a reminder that maybe things are finally starting to come together. A sign that I'm showing up for my life. I'm taking the next step, and I keep choosing growth over giving up. I keep choosing possibility over fear. And maybe you've been doing the same thing without even realizing it. Maybe it was the day you finally set a boundary. The day you got out of bed when everything felt heavy. The day you went for the walk. The day you asked for help. Or maybe it was the day you said no. The day you chose peace over chaos. Look for the evidence. Look for the small moments you've been dismissing. Because those moments may be the very thing that's changing your life. And 3 years later, I can see something I could not see back then. I wasn't just creating a business. I was also creating a life I no longer needed to escape from. And if you're in a season where you're still feeling broken, burnt out, heartbroken, bereaved, discouraged, or like you've lost something along the way, please hear me when I say this. Healing rarely looks the way we think it will. Most of the time, it's not arriving as this massive breakthrough. It's arriving in the small choices. A walk, a boundary, a conversation, a journal entry, a new beginning, a decision to keep going one more day. There have been so many moments on my journey when I thought I wasn't making progress, moments where I felt stuck, alone, and wondered if any of it was working. But looking back now, I can see that every small act of self-love was building something. I just couldn't see it yet. So keep your head up, my friends. Keep choosing yourself. Keep self-empowering, keep self-sourcing and self-loving, learning to trust your own voice, and keep taking the right next step. Because the life you're trying to create isn't waiting for some future version of you. Nope, it's being built right now in the choices you're making in this very second today. And if nobody has told you lately, I'm proud of you for still being here and trying and choosing yourself. And if you're on your own journey back to yourself, I'd love to hear what small step you're celebrating right now in the comments below.
So I started cleaning. I'm about to dismantle that. I just cleaned out those, and I'm gonna clean that window, clean this one, and gonna clean those up and paint them.
Looking back, I wasn't just cleaning a patio and painting things. I was creating evidence that my outer world could begin reflecting the peace I was trying to build inside myself. And you see, that's the thing nobody ever told me about healing. I don't know about you. You don't become confident first and then take action. You take action while you're scared. You take action while you're grieving. You take action while you're doubting yourself. And eventually, those tiny acts become evidence. Evidence that you can trust yourself. Evidence that you can survive disappointment. Evidence that you can keep going, even when it feels like you can't. Evidence that you're stronger than you think. The more I started rebuilding trust in myself, the more opportunities appeared to do things that scared me. And one of those showed up at Toastmasters.
Okay, I just did some big stuff, faced my fear, leaned in. They wanted someone to come up and talk for table topic, and I volunteered, and I got up there and I won. I won for best table topic presentation for 48 seconds of talking, and I talked about making a new mantra for the year of being love, be now, and see life through eyes of wow. I was terrified though. But my inner voice was like, you got to get up there. You got to go be her. If you want to be her, you got to step in now. Here's your opportunity. Get up there. And so I did it, and I did amazing. I mean, I could have done better, but they said that there's an opportunity for me here to really refine those skills. And so super excited. And so like, anyway.
One of the things that changed during that season was that I stopped waiting for the perfect timing or more confidence or someone else to go with me, waiting for permission to enjoy my life, and continued taking myself on adventures, like lunch at this Argonaut Cafe, which 10 out of 10 recommend. You see, simple things that probably didn't look like much from the outside, for me, inside they represented something bigger. They were small acts of self-trust. Small reminders it was safe for me to go to lunch by myself, that my life didn't have to stay on hold while I waited for everything else to fall in place. And you know what? The more I showed up for myself, the more I realized that I was genuinely becoming someone that I really loved and enjoyed spending time with. That's rebuilding trust with yourself.
Just a little move my body in the middle of the day, keep my nervous system regulated, and stay grounded. It's been a busy day, lots of things coming my way. So, nature it is. Look.
You see, the more we stop waiting for life to happen and the more we start participating in it, that is how we rebuild our life. And it may not seem like a lot, but those little tiny acts are what it is required to rebuild your life again and learn how to trust yourself again. We have to show up and connect to ourselves even if no one else is. We have to learn how to reconnect to parts of ourselves that have been buried underneath fear, the conditioning and survival patterns that we needed to survive for decades, in my case. Looks like part of the trail has been remade because it got covered. So we're gonna go this way. One of the things I had done that day before the walk was filing the paperwork for my LLC, This Way to Bliss. And strangely enough, it felt like filing for a divorce. Not because they were the same thing, but because both required me to step into an unknown future I couldn't fully see yet. I wasn't confident. I was terrified. I didn't even have clients lined up. I didn't have a clear roadmap. I didn't even know how to navigate the grief, the uncertainty, or the fear that came with starting over. But I was going to learn it. And what I did know was this. I couldn't and would not keep waiting for someone else to save me.
Are you guys playing roll the log?
Not in my relationships, not in my healing, certainly not in my business, not anywhere in my life.
Hey guys.
I had to start betting on myself, one small step at a time. Because you see, you do not find a happy life, you make it.
Hello. Good afternoon. Hi. How y'all doing? That looks like fun. Hi guys. Hi Quacky Quacks. Hi. Oh no, Birdie's got one leg. You see this? Hi guys. Is it bath time? Yeah, it's bath time. Hi. 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 Hey, duck. Duck, duck, goose. You guys are so pretty.
As I walked along that trail, I kept thinking about how much can change in a year, a season, even a single day. At one point in my life, I believed that the way things were would always be the way they would be. You know, the pain, the confusion, the uncertainty, that icky feeling of being stuck. But nature has a way of reminding us that nothing stays the same forever. The leaves change, the water keeps moving, the seasons come and go, and whether we're ready or not, life keeps asking us to grow. Looking back now, I can see that some of the hardest seasons of my life were also preparing me for some of the most meaningful ones. Not because they were easy, not because I enjoyed them, but because they taught me things that I couldn't have learned any other way. And maybe that's what I needed to remember that day, that my present situation wasn't my final destination, that healing wasn't a straight line, that growth wasn't gonna always be visible, and that even when I couldn't see it yet, life was still moving me forward. And for the first time in a long time, I felt something that I hadn't felt very often. Hope. Not because I suddenly had all the answers. Not because everything was fixed. But because everything I could finally see was the possibility that things could get better. That I could get better. Like, wow. That maybe all of those small choices were adding up to something bigger than I realized. And sometimes that's all we need. One glimpse of a possibility, one reason to keep going, one reminder that the chapter we're in right now isn't the whole story.
See what I'm looking at? A little overcast. I don't care.
For all of my fellow birders out there, if you hear that bird, what is that? Is that a hawk or an eagle? I can't tell. Help! When I got back home, I got the news the LLC had officially been approved, and it felt like a business milestone. And it was proof the life I wanted wasn't going to build itself. I had to participate in creating it. Later that night, watching the fireworks, I realized that every choice, every step and courageous act that I had done was actually, for the very first time in a long time, moving me forward towards something instead of trying to survive it. The season you're in right now isn't the season you'll be in forever. Take a breath. Everything will be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. Please share in the comments what small step you're celebrating right now so I can celebrate with you. Come back, because next episode I'm going to share one of the biggest lessons of all. What a solo camping adventure taught me about the difference between being alone and being lonely. Because sometimes the very thing we fear is the thing we've actually already survived.
Hi, babies. Good morning. Grand day rising, my princesses. I love you.
It's gonna be a sit by the creek in my hammock and read and do nothing kind of day. Yes. This way to bliss. Boondock bath. Get it wet. Brr. I'll clean. Ooh, that's pretty.
See you next time. Until then, keep moving forward, one small step at a time. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your bell notifications so you can traverse the next trail with me. Stay sovereign, self-sourced, and remember,